Shema Yasher Allah Yahweh Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Achad. Shema Yasher Allah Yahweh Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Achad. Shema Yasher Allah Yahweh Allah Hayanawa Yahweh Achad. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai. By Hashem Hakudash, I want to give double honor to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who we well, as peace and blessings, health and wellness, and house and everything like. Our brother just put up a video about Eve. All right, about Eve, talking about how basically they've surpassed so-called black men. That Eve makes so much more money than a so-called black man, and you know they're traveling now. They don't need a so-called black man. They don't need the love of a so-called black man, and it's basically predicated off the black man doesn't make enough money, as though there are no so-called black doctors, engineers, architects, lawyers, and there are. But me growing up in a so-called black household, me, you know, being with so-called black women. I've learned that it has nothing to do with money. It says in the book of Jeremiah that thy wound is incurable. Thy wound is incurable. I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy. And a lot of our women are insecure. They are insecure. When your only value system is money, it's because you have no values. If your only value is money, it's because you have no values. But it has nothing to do with accomplishments, all right? And I understand hypergamy, but in my opinion, if hypergamy is the only thing that's standing between you and that woman, it's because she had no values poured into her. There are women from other cultures who will make more money than their spouse, but they don't assess their worth based off money. You know? Member of she dropped a bomb on me, maybe something like that. At this point, I can't remember his name right now, but his record label screwed him over, and he ended up homeless. And he was literally on the streets. And a fan of his, which is a Edomite woman, grew up listening to him, grew up watching him, and she saw him. And because she grew up listening to him, and mind you, she was a millionaire, she saved him off the streets. Like she got him and then cleaned him up, and she ended up burying him. And of course, she was a fan, of course, but what I've noticed, that women from other cultures, they view the so-called black man differently. All right? Because different people interpret your existence differently. But going back to Eve, what I've learned about Eve is that her foundation was weak. She's insecure because she does not have a sense of self outside of America. It's like I was driving past a football game that had recently ended about 2 days ago, Saturday evening, right? It was like a tailgate party, and just about every single Eve had shorts all the way up to her fucking private area. She had every bit of her thighs showing, every bit of her body showing. It's the same thing. You're insecure. You feel empty unless you're exposing your body. You don't feel attractive unless you're exposing your body. But on the flip, it's the same thing with this woman that was talking about so-called black man was not enough. And no, it has nothing to do with that. You're just insecure. The scripture says, thy wound is incurable. You don't have any system. You don't have any values outside of Esau's power structure. When you read the history books, the only conquerors were so-called white men in America's history books. When you went on your knees to pray, it was the most likely image of a so-called white God in your mind. Okay? You have no values outside of Esau's money system because your wounds are incurable. You have no sense of self. And this is me growing up around so-called black women, having sisters and being in relationships. It's a lot of them just are insecure. It's like you're giving a child money. They have nothing instilled in them. You see? And then on the flip side, you have Eve that watched her sister struggle with them kids, and it made Eve hyper ambitious. And you know, sometimes there's a backstory behind it, but ultimately is that you are a slave to white supremacy. You are a slave to Edomite supremacy. Just say you want a so-called white man. You know, he's the man in power, because money has nothing to do with why you're bleaching your skin. Eve is bleaching her skin. All right, Eve is traveling again with these Edomites in Europe. All right, she says she's traveling solo. Well, the scripture says, because you're like, we've been traveling solo, we're seeing the world, we're making all this money without you. All right, cool. The scripture says, give not a woman liberty, a wicked woman liberty to gad abroad. The scripture says you're supposed to be keepers of the house, but like no one is tripping about you, Eve. But the point is, just doing a case study on Eve. She's never healed from Edomite supremacy. This is rooted in insecurities, man. All right, people who overvalue money like that, you see. But see, Jake, you shouldn't. Why would you want to give us? Of course, you are a man, and a man should work. But once you learn who you are as far as your nationality, right, and you serve Yahweh, that's all you need, man. Okay? But once again, the scripture says that wound is incurable. That's why you had this singer called Indiari. All right? She's a real soulful singer. But a lot of her songs is built around, you know, healing. All right? Loving yourself. Because Eve had a grievous wound in America, has a grievous wound in America. A lot of Eve, they oriented to singers like Indiari because she was boosting the self-esteem of so-called black women. It's low self-esteem, man. It's a poor self-esteem, man. But why do you have a poor self-esteem? All right, because the standard of beauty is the opposite of how you look. You see? And you're probably thinking, what does it have to do with the woman is saying? Because it has nothing to do with money. All right? You esteem money so much because you don't esteem yourself. You attach yourself to Esau's value system because you have no values about yourself. You know? It's a grievous wound. You're in somebody else's power structure. Once again, when you look into the history book, you didn't see the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native American man conquering anything. All right? You didn't see the so-called black man's face on the front of a dollar bill. All right? So it's like, hey, the scripture says, woe to thee, O land, when thy ruler is a child. And that's Esau, but that's Eve too. Because it says women should rule over you. But the women that rule over Jake, all right, these are children with money, man. Okay? Man, that's pretty much the point. You know? We suffered a grievous wound in America. For 300 some years, we were not even classified as human. And, well, at least from the 1600s to, you know, really the 1900s, man. Slavery ended 1865, but for a long time, we were not classified as human. How did we heal from that? We did not heal from that. If you are in this truth, you've healed from that. Then we left slavery and entered into this man power structure. You know? But by that time, Eve was already, she was already, how can I put this? I want to say chipped, but I'm careful with my words. By the time slavery ended, Eve was already perceiving Esau as a god. You know? You see? She perceived the so-called white man as a god, but if she perceived him as a god, then how does she perceive you, so-called black man? You see? Jake has the heal. Jake has the heal, man. The 1/3 of our people has the heal. But 2/3 of our people, they're going to come back and understand it in the next life. But no, 1/3 of our people, they have to heal from Babylon, man. All right, but with that, your nation, I'm going to say this too, your nation being intact is more important than you having a couple dollars, man. A couple inflating dollars, man. Your nation, man. You coming back to your power. You being connected back to your God is more important than you having a couple of dollars, man. But with that, I hope you brothers and sisters were edified. Once again, I want to give out honor and glory to Yahweh Bahashim Hawashai, Bahashon Hakodash. I also want to give double honors to our elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone Rural. Peace and blessings, health and wellness to the house of everything elect. Baba Ba, come Yashala, Shalom.